The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
My friend, grab your popcorn, the fun never ends. From all this tales to facts absurd, every episode you'll hang on every word. We've got stories that'll make you grin. From the depths of bizarre, just dive in. Laugh so hard you'll fall off your seat. The kind of show that can't be beat. It's a wild ride. Join Blue Janice and let your worries slide. Every crazy moment's a delight. Tune in now, that's your day right. Tune in the Dookie, it's a wild ride. Join Blue Janice and let your worries slide. Every crazy moment's a delight. Tune in now, we'll set your day right. Tales to craziest news. We take no prisoners and break no rules. Janice has the scoop you never heard. Every single show gets more absurd. When you need a break and a big old grin, new Janice is the guy who draws you in. For the stories odd and laughter bright, subscribe and listen every night. It's a wild ride. Join Blue Janice and let your worries slide. Every crazy moment's a delight. Tune in and now we'll set your day right. From the tallest tales to craziest news, we take no prisoners, let you break no rules. Janice has the scoop you never heard. Every single show gets more absurd.
All right. Yeah, I'm Hugh Janus. Just figure throw out some music. I'm bored. It's late. Nothing else to do. So, uh, you know, yeah, just kind of screw around a little bit. And seeing as how most of the people that I usually talk to during the day are none of them around. But I don't know. Let's see. Um, let's see. We'll go with one of my original songs. This is called "Sweaty Players Suck."
In the heat of battle, we drop from the sky. Fingers twitching, elbows high. Sweaty palms, control is soaked. Victory's the punchline, only pros have choked. Loot and spoon hit the ground fast. Snipers lurking, adrenaline blast. Shield cells pumping, hearts are racing. In this chaos we are chasing. Sweaty players dodging storms. Hiding in bushes, shifting forms. Building castles high as can be. Dancing on enemies' debris. got no chill. Spamming grenades, they've got the skill. Ammo low, but spirits high. In this match, no one wants to die. Ping the spots where danger lies. Revive them, reboot friends that try. It's all good in this wild ride. Getting clutch brings comic pride. Sweaty players dodging storms, hiding in bushes, shifting forms, building castles high as can be, dancing on enemies' debris. Dancing on enemies' debris.
Yeah. What's going on, Eric? See you popped in there. Yeah, no, I'm just kind of messing around with, you know, running a little bit here, see what's going on, and figure play off some of the other original songs and metal covers that I've been playing with. Uh, yeah, no, I was just playing one I made called "Sweaty Players Suck." Um, where we can take that out. Um, yeah, oh yeah, no problems. Yeah, no, that was yeah. I mean, the old man. I asked him some questions over in an email, and he gave me, some good answers and stuff. And I came across this stuff to do this, so I figured, what the hell, why not? Um, you know, and I was like, I'm gonna make a one, and of course I had to include you and Shonda and Grammy as well, and hey, it was something different, and I was like, he could use a theme song. And I know you guys all appreciated it, and I know Shonda was loving it, so, and the old man and even Grammy, so oh. But yeah, yeah, no problem. Hey. Um oh, more than happy to do it. And then I was just excited to hear him play it. Eh, Oh, I could. Um yeah, just need a little maybe putting something together for the Bread and or Brett's Pulse podcast and Crash and Burn. Yeah. Um, if you want to, um, you can always have them send me an email. Here, I'll put it in the. There we go. So yeah. There's my email address. They can send me messages there. Um, I mean, and yeah, if anything, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, no, so yeah, I was messing around and yeah, and I was like doing some like older songs that I uh, like the old like I love Boston and stuff. So I wanted to see what it would sound like as a metal song, and this one I think turned out pretty well. So I'm gonna run through it real quick here, and we'll see how it goes.
I looked out this morning and the sun was gone. Turned on some music to start my
I like how that one turned out. That one turned out pretty good. So, um, yeah. Now, if you want to come up and join me on the show, if you got a few minutes, if you're not, busy or something, doing something else. But yeah, yeah, no, I mean, I'm slowly trying to get this all rolling. I've been trying to do this for a while, and finally, my normal band of idiots, they're not around. So, um, so yeah, and it's kind of late. It's on a Monday night, so might have to schedule something more weekend-ish. Uh, yeah, but yeah, just yeah, I don't know. We get it going. Just slowly working on it. Oh, there you go. I mean, if you want to jump, you want to jump on in, go ahead. Yeah, runs his show about this time most nights. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Oh yeah, there you go. Oh, good evening to you, sir.
Hey, Hugh.
Yeah, what's going on?
Running on a whole lot.
Yeah,
I
chewing
just
on
got
some
back
gummies and
from.
drinking a Dr Pepper.
hmm
Yeah. Oh, is Russ running the show right now?
I believe it is. I can check. Let
Yeah.
me
Oh,
minimize the screen. And yep, he's running his outside of normal show, but he might be getting about ready to have to do his like reset because you're
only
on
limited to
Podbean
two
Live.
hours.
Yeah,
Right. Mm.
there's would be Haribo like gummy candies, and I got one in like the Smurfs.
Oh, jeez. That's funny. But yeah, no, I was just bored and I was like, I'll just throw it up. I mean, I wasn't even worried if anybody'd actually pop in and listen. But when isn't Russ on doing a show? I swear.
Well, Sunday
He's
morning, he's in church,
mm,
so but usually on Sunday mornings you got Brett and
mm,
Rick doing like their Sunday morning show right now called Plotting My Life Away because of the snow in Alaska.
oh geez. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he could be under his Stewie Griffin persona.
Oh, oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, yeah, but I swear, like Russ is like Podbean is all he does, his podcasts outside of normal or whatever, and it's all he like does it like most of the day, doesn't he?
Well, he has the lunchtime show during around noon Eastern, which is 11 a.m. Central. And then Tuesday
Right.
through Friday, he does the middle. And then Wednesday nights, he's either usually delayed or he takes that night off because he's committed to the Wednesday night variety show that the Pulse does,
Mm,
which is Brett's Hallmark show.
okay.
And you have an invite to join us Wednesday night if you're interested. And then Crash and Burn with Crash, she's usually on Thursdays, but since Thursday's Thanksgiving, we're going to be doing the show this on Friday instead, just for this week.
Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll have to listen in. Usually a lot of times I don't try and I don't get much time. It depends on when the shows are if I catch them live, because yeah, usually I've been pulling like 10-hour days for
hmm
the last couple of weeks. So for work. Yeah, when I popped into the old man show this morning, yeah, I was actually in between because well, I drive medical transport and take people to their doctor's appointments. So I had like I don't know, I think like a 45-minute window before my next one well, I was about half an hour when I finally jumped into the show. So yeah, no, but I am so glad that that the old man and you and Shonda and everybody and
hmm
Grammy too with the theme, and I just thought it kind of fit. That's why last week when I popped in, I was like, "Yeah, you seem to like a lot of country," and he's like, "Yeah," and then I thought about it, and I was like, I'm just gonna throw him I'll throw
Right.
something together, you know. But oh yeah, no, I'm happy that coffee tea and me weekdays. Cindy's morning show.
Yeah, and
Okay.
like some of the other shows that I'm sure you might be interested in.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. All right. yeah, you know, it's just yeah, no, yeah, my webpage fruity.com. I've had that web.
Mm-hmm.
I've had uh that web address for God close to like I don't know, I think like 15 years. Cuz my brother who he's an IT director for a company. He has his own server and he actually hosts my page. He said my birthday present every year is my domain registration
Uh-huh.
and hosting my page. So I mean, I have the email, address, and I use it. I don't use it as much, but um, yeah, I figured, you know what, I'll just redo it for this. You know, I mean, hell, I already got the web page. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could always, buy a new domain and have it centered towards there. But yeah, I'm getting there. It's just like I said, my normal, usual cast of morons are all either working too much or like my one friend, he's expecting his child in the next 8 days. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it just so happens I don't have to start till a little bit later, around noon central tomorrow for work. So tomorrow will be a shorter day, and then I'm off on Thursday. So, but yeah, no, I'm gonna have to check out all these shows and stuff. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I already check out the old man, so and
Mm-hmm.
so the Pulse on Wednesday 9:30 p.m. Central. Okay, yeah, because
I
I'm
think I think you would enjoy the Pulse.
yeah, yeah, so Toys, Tools, and Things return soon. Okay, yeah, um, yeah, we have no, this past August, I went to an event here with the girlfriend torturing me with country music. Uh, it's called Neon Nights, and they do it in a bunch of places. And like I said earlier today, the main headliners for the first night was Winona, and the second night was Trace Adkins. And I mean, it was a good time. I mean, songs that I know at least, because of course, how can not
Mm-hmm.
anybody not know Honky Tonk but Donk, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he did yeah, Trace did uh did a tribute to Toby Keith and sang one of his songs and stuff. So that was cool. And yeah, my girlfriend was crying and she's like, "Oh my god, I'm like, "Oh, I mean, it's a good song." And I feel, I mean, we lost, you know, a great, he was a good musician, Toby Keith, but
Um,
it's just like getting that set. I mean, I mean, I got a little sentimental like when Stan Lee died because like I'm a big Marvel fan. Well, I'm a big DC fan too, but yeah, so yeah, but yes, there's like and the girl that was sitting next to us because it was outside at the here in Wisconsin. It's the Walworth County Fairgrounds, and they had it outside in the middle where the like where they had the demolition derby and all that stuff and the bleachers, and we had like front row seats and Stewie Griffin show. Yeah, there you go.
yeah.
So and I was like, yeah, so yeah, just having fun with it. And yeah, we were supposed to see Gabriel Iglesias on the 1st of August, but the show got rained out. Come to find out, that's the second time his show got rained out at the Wisconsin State Fair because they hold it outside. Yeah, that really sucked. Oh, we were so mad. Luckily, we got the money back for the tickets, but um, yeah. But yeah, no, like I said, yeah, I like I was messing around with this, stuff. Oh yeah, a bunch of them. Um, oh yeah, let me
And I will
see.
say with like the outside and roll production illuminated braids of caps on Sunday,
Mhm.
like it's a trivia show, and then in the trivia questions, you might have just made the cut this week, Hugh, with you like creating that new song for the old man's podcast.
Oh, hmm.
Well, hopefully, Russ and Caps have already inventoried that for like Sunday, and I know
Uh-huh.
you'll definitely have to be there for that.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I mean, I did it. I didn't even do it for, the just, it was just nice to hear it,
Hmm.
and it's not a big deal if I get, praise or whatever. I mean, it feels good, don't get me wrong, but I didn't do it to get praise or that. I just did it because I thought it'd be fun. And, I figured the old man would like it. And,
No, it was a
you know,
nice contribution, that's for sure.
hmm I
But
mean, in all his time, he's been doing it on here for 5 years,
if
and
you include his time at Dreadnought 928, yes,
right, right. So all together, like 5 years of
four,
podcasting,
four, four and a half years, like him, leading his own show because
right,
Rich is taking hiatuses off and on.
right,
Oh,
right.
excuse me.
Oh, but
Because
I mean,
Podbean does have a great roster of content creators, and you among them.
mm, yeah, I mean, I try, I mean, technically been kind of doing well, just internet radio since about 2004. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
way back then. My brother and I, we actually decided to start our own internet radio station, and it was just for a hobby. And
right.
and the first one lasted about 6 months, and it was called Rockin' Radio. And what we would do is we had originally met other people. We had started. Uh, my brother was telling me, he's like, yeah, there's these internet radio stations you can apply for being a DJ. I'm like, oh, really? Cool. Okay, let's go check it out. And so we're listening, and so we both emailed the owner, and she was like, well, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. She her and her boyfriend ran it, and they had a bunch of people on there. Some two kids that were like teenagers at the time, like 14, 15 years old. From They were best friends from like West Virginia, and one of the girls was from Canada, and they would in the station wasn't just limited to one genre. So like my brother would play uh it's like some R&B and hip hop and stuff. I would play like rock and metal songs and whatever. The kids would play like, some rock and metal, and the girl in Canada was like the big country. Uh and and then the owners, they played a little bit of everything. But yeah, we were doing that for a while, and then um because the boyfriend got into a fight with his girlfriend, and since she was paying for everything, she shut the whole station down. So we had kept in contact with the other people and decided, well, we'll just start our own. And we were doing fine. We'd have people, DJs would come in and do 2 hour blocks, or my brother would, like, I'd be in the middle of a show, and my brother's like, sending me messages like, hey, I need you to, you know, drop the stream, set it on auto DJ, and after the song, I'm gonna take over. And I'm like, okay, what do you got going on? And here in Wisconsin, I live like Milwaukee Metro. So my brother and his friend took a laptop and a microphone and a headset, drove all the way out to Madison, which is like a 2 hour ride to the state capitol. And they set up a laptop, hijacked someone's Wi Fi for free, set the laptop on top of a dumpster, and we're out there with a microphone with two really long cords on the headset and the microphone, and go, yeah, we're doing an internet radio station. You want to be on the air? And the kid was like, dude, I'm on the radio. This is awesome. And we used to have
Mhm.
like an average probably about between 200 and 300 people, depending on the time of day, that would tune in. And then we got shut down for by the Recording Industry Artists of America, and then CSAC, which is like one of the bigger licensing. They they represent a lot of the artists, and they told us that if we didn't shut down, we would be fined $10,000 a day, even though we weren't making any money. It was a hobby station. So about A year after that, we
Okay.
started another one, and that one lasted probably about 9 months before they hit us again. Because we thought we had all the proper stuff to get the licensing. Come to find out, we didn't. So we were just like, we're done. So I've been kind of doing, like I used to do like um, I was doing a podcast for a while. I don't know if you've ever experienced the virtual world called Second Life on PC.
I've never heard of that, but I think
Well,
the
it's been
whole
around
licensing,
since 2003. So
yeah,
that kind of tells you how old it is. I started
21
on
years.
it, huh?
21 years.
Yeah. Um, and
Well, the thing
my
about like the whole like licensing thing for internet radio, because I know there are probably a lot of legal issues because people have to
Mhm.
understand that it's nothing personal
Right. Oh
because
yeah.
there are like a lot of legal hurdles you have to go through
Well,
because
the
this is an industry
licensing.
where you're easily exploited too.
Well, yeah. Well, we were playing the music, and just because we were having fun. That's all it was. But you know, um, yeah. But like,
Well,
we
or
could have
just
gotten a
having,
license, but the license was expensive. And
yeah.
over the years, there's actually now there's a place. I have the web address somewhere. If I really wanted to play like commercial music like a radio station, I can get a license for like $75 for the year, which is pretty cheap.
Mhm.
But um
Well,
yeah, so
and I think with internet radio, it's like the terrestrial radio that like you get on the AM and FM dials or TV. You probably do have to follow certain FCC rules and regulations because they.
actually, well, no, with internet radio, it's unlike terrestrial radio, over the air, because you don't it's not regulated by the FCC, so you can get away with like like cursing and stuff like that. They have no regulation over it. So um you
Yeah,
can yeah, you can get away with pretty much, as long as it isn't, like, hate speech or anything like that, you
yeah,
know. And
or any vile combative behavior.
right, exactly. Not as long as you're not out there, making threats towards people or whatever and whatnot. I mean, you know, I mean, it's like on here, I was earlier this evening, I was like, I'm going to check out and see if there's any of these other shows on here. And I was popping around a little bit, and of course, I get the usual reaction. They're like, "Oh my God, look at it's huge anus just popped in the room." People are like, "What?" And I just type in, "Yo, what's up?" you know,
Well, you
I
have
just
two fellow Wisconsinites that come on Podbean. There's one named T Gun who he would usually pop into Ralph and Milk Dog shows, and then Daddy Hoff, of course, he'll go in the Frankie D show, he'll go in Russ's show and the Old Man show,
mhm.
and he's on Facebook too,
Oh,
under his given name like Scott Hoffmaster, and and I try not to give out people's actual names if I can help it, but of
right.
course my username Eric Kirk 2003 that Eric Kirk is my actual name, which I don't
Oh,
mind people knowing my name,
oh,
but
oh. I used the name Hugh Janus just because I started like doing the
and that
social
might not be your
podcasting thing.
actual name.
Well, yeah, but like I started the social podcasting thing back in during COVID. There's another app on the phone called Stereo. Let's Talk, and I
I've
wanted a
heard of
name that
that.
was kind of catchy and would catch people's attention. So I used Hugh Janus. I mean, hell, my real name is Kirk. My first name is actually Kirk, like your last name. So yeah,
Is Kirk the legal name, or is it short for Kirkley?
no, it's Kirk. Yeah,
We
it's
got
yeah.
Kirkley Hennessy, and he lives here in Georgia.
Oh, oh, snap. Yeah, no, I'm just a Kirk. Yeah. Unfortunately, my biological father, they stuck me with his middle name. I mean, yeah, whatever. I've had many nicknames over the years. I have one that I use for gaming, and then and my old nickname from junior high school, because unfortunately, being born in the '70s and growing up in the '80s, a girl in one of my gym classes actually looked at me and she goes, "You look like that guy Booger from Revenge of the Nerds."
Oh,
Yeah.
hence like your Discord handle, DJ Booger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right, right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Uh, yeah. So yeah, like yeah, that's an old school because when I used to work for a friend of mine, for his karaoke DJ business, I would host karaoke, and so when he had these like really nice work shirts made up, um, the button up, short sleeve, and everybody had their name on embroidered into the shirt. So of course he didn't have my first name; he had my nickname. Booger put on the shirt, so people would come up, "Yo, dude, Booger, what's up?" It's like, yeah. I mean, I've had that nickname since what 1985 when the movie came out. So you know, I mean, how's
How
it
old are
going
you, if
on?
you don't mind
Damn
my
near,
asking?
huh?
How old are you, if you don't mind my asking?
53.
Oh, I just turned 40 last month.
Oh, oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I was my birthday. Yeah, 4th of July. So
Well, you share a birthday with John Antonio, of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
And he does podcast shows 3 and 4 days a week here on Podbean. I know, he has Aaron and Boogie Nights as his co-hosts, and
Hmm.
one of Boogie's personal friends, Corey Knight,
Hmm.
and then Brian BP 49. They frequent that show, and I think Rhode Island George occasionally goes in there, and I imagine Crazy Lady does too, and then Bella Forever from Canada, and I
Hmm.
don't know who else goes in there, but there are a lot of people who kind of click on in his show, and then of course, don't be surprised if you come across any Podbean drama, which I oftentimes say you do get some peculiar types on here that kind of
Hmm.
think that they're still in high school, and they're probably like either in their late 20s or their 30s or 40s,
Hmm.
and
Right.
you probably think, well, they already moved on from that.
If I wanted to deal with high school drama, I'd go re-enroll in high school. I mean, I'd be a pretty scary looking freshman at 53 years old, but
Right? Or, as the old man says, take your drama to your mama.
mm, oh, you got an issue? Here's a tissue. You know, eh, you know,
I mean, did your mom and dad not love you enough as a kid, or were there always sibling rivalries?
right? What? Your mama didn't hug you enough? Your mama didn't give you kisses when you had a boo boo? Oh my god. Oh, I mean, and I'm pretty good at like I've been keeping it clean here, but I mean, I will like if I go into a tirade, people, they will come and oh, and and oh god, I used to do like second. Well, I was talking about Second Life, but Second Life is basically it's a virtual world, kind of like you've seen The Sims, how the game is The Sims, where you have your
Oh
character, you
yeah.
build houses. Second Life is what I like to describe as The Sims on crack because if you want to look like an elf, you can look like an elf. If you want to look, and they've got all kinds in there. They've got people who, their avatars look like furries. Um, my character kind of looks like a big giant. Now he looks like a big giant, very tan Nordic hairstyle, like lots of dreadlocks and braids, and he's got elf ears and he's got tons of piercings. And it's funny because my character in there, it's funny because my character's got a Japanese name. He looks like he's Mexican half the time, and I sound like a white guy, and but everybody just loved it, the my character because it's a lot of it's like a lot of role playing stuff like um we used to do like Star Wars role play in there, and you can buy literally they have a market in there where um that people actually can create their own goods and sell them to other people in world. And there was a story quite a few years back. There was a person, an avatar by the name of Anchi Chung. It was ANCHE and Chung. Um, she started investing in land with people. And well, she was kind of shady about how she did it, but she was the first person in Second Life to make $1 million in actual US cash from a game, which is crazy. Um, but so yeah, we used to do Star Wars role play in there. You could literally go and people would design and script these items. Like I had a lightsaber, I was a Jedi, and and you could have force abilities like force push and pull. You could take your lightsaber and throw your lightsaber and have it come back to you and retrieve it. We used to do Transformers role play in there where you buy avatars that were huge and tall that would actually transform and you could drive them around. I mean, that's how in depth this stuff was. But yeah, and um yeah, my first account in Second Life was 2004, and I stopped and then I went back in and created a new account for that internet radio station, the first one. But yeah, like in February it'll be like my 19th year in that virtual world. So I mean, yeah, I don't spend a lot of time in there now, but I mean, there's people in there that I've known for like, God, like going on 15 years that I talk to on a regular basis, usually through like Discord or through Messenger, and but yeah, I mean some really great friends. Like there's a woman that I know, she's uh I think she's 54 now. Yeah, wait, no, 55. And and we have never actually met, but we consider each other because her and I mesh so well together when we talk because her and we've never had a fight. We always get along. Everything's just copacetic. We never argue. And so she tells me that I'm her internet husband and that she's my internet wife. And my girlfriend knows. I told her. I said, "Hey, me and Angel, that's my Canadian wife." And my girlfriend's like, "Okay, whatever." She's cool with it. But yeah. So and then for Second Life, we used to do Second Life wrestling. You could like somebody had went and they created basically like a HUD that you would wear, and you could type in your commands on your screen and do wrestling moves, so it looked like an actual wrestling show. Well, I was doing a wrestling related kind of podcast years ago for on I don't know if you've ever heard of Blog Talk Radio.
I've heard of that. And how I heard about that, there used to be a podcast that used to be on Podbean called VOP USA Radio. They were previously there before they came to Podbean, and they tried to start up their own like internet radio station under that name and doing
Mm,
video multicast like on Twitch and Facebook and
mm,
YouTube
mhm,
and I think they were constantly getting kicked off, and then I think me and a couple of podcast friends like John DeVito and James from the Slightly Serious Show and Jeremy who did the Cummings Culture podcast there for a while, we kind of caught on to some very unusual behaviors and determined that some of the people who were associated with that entity were not not who we thought they were, and
mm.
you know,
Yeah.
and we kind of had a falling out with them, and they
Mm.
they decided they no longer wanted us around. So I guess
Oh,
we were just too good for them.
oh, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, no, back in the day, Blog Talk Radio would be like you paid for an account and then you would call in or you would call into your own show through Skype and then you would connect and then you actually
Mhm.
had a phone number where people could call in, like literally a phone number, which was always really cool. I mean, I had my own dedicated phone number. I would do my show and and people would call in, asking about people, especially in Second Life, we'd put out like advertisements for, yeah, we're gonna do, we're doing this and that and blah blah blah. And and it was popular for a while, but then I just got kind of run down. I ended up like my very last show. What had
Uh,
happened is somebody had leaked the phone number to 4chan, so I was getting all these people calling in. Hey, do you like cheese pizza? You want to see my penis? Stuff like that. And I'm like, y'all got to stop with all this. And so somebody called in, yeah. So explain to me about the Second Life Wrestling thing. And we were explaining it, and one of my co-hosts, another gentleman from Canada, we were talking about it, and it's like, so yeah, yeah. So what do you think? You want to see my penis? Okay, y'all need to stop. And I was like thinking, y'all leaked it to 4chan, didn't you? Somebody did, or whatever, and thought it was be fun to like, prank the show. And that was the last time I did the show, but their format is all changed. But they used to have some really good shows over there. There's a guy over there
mhm.
used to do he was called Dr. Blogstein. He
Never
was
heard
a
of that.
good guy. Yeah, and a lot of the stuff, a lot of those, like, he stopped doing the show. He was doing it for about a couple of years, and then he stopped. And I still had him on my Facebook. So I would like randomly message him, hey, we could always use another Dr. Blogstein. And he's all like, yeah, he goes, yeah, I don't have time for all that, you know. But he and then there was another one. Do you know who Adrian Curry is, right?
Well, I think I've
The
heard of that
model.
name.
She was a model. She was on America's Top Model the first season. She married
Um,
Christopher Knight, Peter Brady, and they had a show called about a reality show called My Fair Brady.
I've never really studied that show, but
Right.
I know that show existed.
Right, right, right. Well, Adrian Curry, we used to also, she was an investor in this other platform. It was called Now Live at the time. And um, and I met some really cool people. One of the guys I still talk to on a regular basis. But yeah, over there, we used to get we'd get like we'd do our shows, and Adrian Curry, like, it's kind of nice, you got someone kind of sort of famous coming in, and coming in and talking on your show for a little bit, and and stuff like that. It was always really cool. And there's an entertainer, his name is Michael Arrington. Um,
Hmm.
he his character was actually an older Jewish lady named Esther Goldberg, and he used to do like entertainment things with Esther, and and stuff like that. And he also does a live show on stage. I think he's doing. I don't know if he's doing it in Vegas right now still, but he was officially granted permission to do a live stage show about the life of Paul Lynde. And you know who Paul Lynde is. He played the uncle from Bewitched. He was all back in the days of the Hollywood Squares. He was like usually like the center square or something. Um,
No, a lot of that was before my time.
well, it's a lot of it was still before my time, but I mean, catching
Yeah.
reruns of Bewitched on Saturday back in the '80s, you Saturday morning cartoons was like GI Joe, Transformers, Thundercats, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then in the afternoon, you'd end up like, shows like Bewitched and, Brady Bunch and stuff like that. So,
I mean, like shows that were like long before my time that I remember in reruns. I remember like the Brady Bunch, the
mhm,
Munsters,
right, right,
and then shows that were like during my lifetime. I might have not been old enough to remember their original runs on the major networks, but I've seen
right,
some of them in syndication.
right, 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 right. Yeah,
But
it's a
but I
lot
know
of what I
that,
saw too. So,
but I think there are just so many shows that I really didn't really like thoroughly study because they never really piqued my interest. Like
right,
say like shows like Alf and Dinosaurs, Touched by an
okay.
Angel.
Oh,
So
yeah. Oh,
those
I
are
get you.
shows.
Right. Yeah. Oh God, yeah. I mean, Touched by an Angel. I mean, there were some shows, you'd get bored and you'd end up watching them. Like one of my girlfriends, she was big on watching Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, that was a good show.
And it was, and at first I was like,
Based on the
like,
book series by Laura Ingalls Wilder. So basically, the Little House on the Prairie show would be mostly told from the middle daughter's point of view.
right, right. And well, yeah, but she was originally born here in Wisconsin,
Oh
if I
yeah,
remember correctly. Yeah, I think Laura Ingalls Wilder was originally born here in Wisconsin.
I mean, that would be your fellow Wisconsinite right there.
Yeah. So, and the
Yeah,
show was kind of fun.
he's a Wisconsinite too.
Hmm?
My landlord Jesse. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I've known him now for almost 6 years. I've rented from him. Still to this day.
Oh.
I think he's like from the west side of the state, closer to the Minnesota border.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, a lot of we have like along the western border we have like I'm trying to think bigger cities over there. Eau Claire, La Crosse. Um, hmm, yeah, I don't even remember. But yeah, I mean, like right now where I live like 6 blocks away from Lake Michigan. So yeah, so I'm way
You
on the
you
eastern edge.
you're more closer to like Milwaukee and Green
Yeah.
Bay.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, like Milwaukee from where I live is like a 30-minute drive. Green Bay is about 2.5 hours. Um,
And then Madison, I think, is somewhere in the central
two
part of the
hours.
state.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
2 hours from here. So yeah, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, we got a bunch of like different famous people here. I mean, like, uh, like well, Al Molinaro from Happy Days, who played the
Mhm.
original Al, and then well, Ellen Corby, who was on the Waltons. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was the grandmother on the Waltons. She
Um,
was originally
I know,
from
like of that '70s show. If you looked at the intro, like when they
Mhm.
do that creative part and they use like a Wisconsin's license plate from the '70s,
Yeah, the black and yellow ones. Yep, yep. I remember those
and
plates.
and and the slogan of America's Dairyland.
Yep, yep. Oh yeah. Well, and it's funny because if when you watch the show and you notice that they tend to mention Kenosha a lot,
Hmm.
you know, and I actually the company I work for is based out of Kenosha, so yeah. But yeah,
Um,
Kenosha was also where all those riots were a few years back.
and when Kyle Rittenhouse was the big story, yeah.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
Um,
I mean, I literally had to drive through that area the night all that happened for my job.
oh, yeah.
So yeah. And of course, nobody was going to mess with me. They're seeing medical transportation on the side of the van. They're like, yeah, no. So
Well, and then of course Janesville is like the birthplace of former House Speaker Paul Ryan.
hmm yeah. Also, Wisconsin is also where the birth of the Republican Party.
Oh yeah. Well,
Hmm
because y'all are right next door to Illinois, where Abraham Lincoln was from.
hmm Right, right, right. Yeah. I mean, I don't like being political, and I try to avoid it, especially in like in
You're
on
not
the
the only one, Hugh, because
you know. I
then
Well, it's just that there's so many differing,
Sydney's the
it
same way.
just well, like and I don't shy away from political talk as long as it's a decent, you know, it's a conversation and not an argument. Because,
True.
I mean like me, I am not a fan of Donald Trump and I tell
Um,
people, you know,
well, and like I know that the way I am politically, Hugh, like I tend to mostly identify as an independent. Like
right.
I'm right leaning on some issues, I'm left leaning on some issues, but
Huh,
but I'm just like the kind of person I just don't like to take it to the extreme like some
right.
do.
Well,
And those who take it to the extreme tend to get more of the attention. And you and me, for example, or Cindy, tend to be more silent.
right. Well, I mean, I will get into like discussions with people as long as it's a, you know, like, it's just when people were talking like, "Oh, Donald Trump," I mean, and like
Which,
I always tell people, one of the biggest problems I have is how they say that he would, even back 9 years ago when he started running, that he would be such a great leader because he's such a great businessman. But the thing is, how is he a great businessman when he bankrupted his company 6 times and every business he owns loses money?
well, and I think that the like if you remember one of the debates where and even Dave Chappelle talked about this in one of his comedy routines about
Mhm.
how Trump all the time talks about the system being rigged, and he acknowledged in one of those debates that really got a lot of attention that he acknowledged being a part of it, and he pointed out to Hillary that
Mhm.
her and her other politician friends have written these laws like with loopholes that benefit them that would hurt everyday people like us, and that they have the ability to rewrite these laws and tax codes, but they won't do it because these same laws and tax codes are benefiting them and their friends,
Right. Well,
and they want to make Trump look like he's the devil.
mhm. I mean, it's just like I tell people, if you're gonna vote, at least vote. I mean, I may not
That's
agree with who you vote for, but I will
well,
defend
having
your right
respect
to
for it
vote for
is
who. Well, I'll defend your right to vote for whoever you want because that's what a democracy is. You know.
well, it's like I'll admit, I voted for Trump 3 times, but like, do I like Trump as a person? Not really, because like I know I might not be a huge fan of him, like when he doesn't maintain decorum at times, or he says things that are a little like brash and out of line. But
Hmm.
did I like his policies? I mean, I believe he had great policies, but he
Well,
but he got a
the
lot of
thing
pushback from
is,
independents and both political parties.
and I'm not admonishing you because, like I said, as long as
I mean, I have
you got
respect
your
for you,
word
much
out.
like you have respect for me.
Right. You voted, and that's, at least, it's trying to show that, no matter what, we're a democracy, but it's
Mhm.
just, it's just a lot of, the things that he promised, he never even came close to doing anything about, during his first presidential, run. Like every 2 weeks, it'd be like, "Oh, we're going to come out with a healthcare plan that's better than Obamacare," and every 2 weeks he would say the same thing, and
Mhm.
it and it never came to fruition. Nothing ever came of it. Like he was going to do infrastructure. Nothing he did about it. He didn't do nothing about it. The man, was like, eh, he was pushing policies that never came to fruition. He was talking about the border wall, but the thing is, and I explained this to quite a few people. Donald Trump's like, "Oh, we're gonna build this wall, and Mexico is gonna pay for it." And what does the former president of Mexico, say? He was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Donald Trump says we're gonna pay for the wall. Mexico is not paying for no fucking wall." That's exactly what he said. And and look who got stuck with the bill. But the thing is, the 0.2% of wall that he had actually had built, the rest of it was just repairing existing sections.
True.
You know, and
Well,
but the sections that he had his friends, his contractor friends build, most of those sections were washed out by floods because, or are rusting and falling apart because,
well,
well, he
because
the
you have to.
but you have to understand, when he allowed his contractor friends to do it, who are not capable of building such structures, that should be left to the Army Corps of Engineers because they know
Right.
how to design that stuff. And that was one of the big things. His tax cuts for the rich was another big thing because they pay less in taxes, which means less goes into the government, which means we get charged more for normal everyday items. You know, um,
Well, oftentimes the middle class always gets stuck foot in the bill.
uh, yeah, we get the
But
shaft.
because laws and like tax loopholes are designed to benefit the super wealthy
Well,
and
yeah,
and those who are real poverty stricken.
right. And if they can benefit without destroying the middle class, And
Right.
I'm all for it because hey, it's you can game the system a little bit. I get it. But,
You know,
and my biggest problem now with him being elected is he kept pushing on the idea of the tariffs. And people don't understand that when they put tariffs on a country, that it doesn't affect the company and the country that it's coming from. It affects us because we actually have to pay more for these products to be brought over. We have to pay that falls on us because there was a guy, or a woman. She was talking about her husband, the company he works for. The day after Trump was elected on Wednesday morning, the boss came in and told everybody in the company that they were not getting their Christmas bonuses this year because they have to take that money and stockpile stuff they need from these other countries for the next year, because after Trump takes office and he puts these tariffs into place, it's going to cost twice as much. Like now, I play on PS5. I bought my PS5 last year for $500. This
um,
after Trump becomes elected, that PlayStation is going to cost closer to 1,000 because they're handled by Sony based out of Japan. You know,
well, I remember, of course, being like the Clinton years,
hmm
Democrat president, and then but then the remainder of his like 8 years, like six of those 8 years, he had a Republican controlled Congress,
hmm
and I remember, for the because like during that time, the Republican controlled Congress and Clinton, you know, came together to have like for the first time in more than 40, 50 years a balanced budget
right,
and getting our debt under control
right.
and we for a while there had record surplus. Then that went away and that surplus turned into record deficits
Well,
and
the thing is you
our
notice,
national debt growing so out of control and here we are continue to spend money we don't have and like Rand Paul says, whether you like him or hate him, we're having to borrow that money from countries who hate us. And
hmm
and Paul Ryan, which I'll admit I'm not really a fan of him,
hmm
said in a vice presidential debate, if I'm not mistaken, or an appearance on one of the Sunday morning shows that our failure to get our national debt, under control is a national security nightmare waiting to happen.
hmm Well, and now, with this whole recent election, Trump kept trying to tell people our economy is doing bad. The stocks are only going up because, they know he's going to get elected. But the thing is, 10 out of the last 11 presidents who had who left office with a recession were all Republicans. 10 out of 11 put us in a recession.
I know George W. Bush is one of those. I know
Oh, and
that
Donald
one.
Trump as well. Right when Joe Biden took office. Um, when Donald Trump came into office back in 2017, and he's talking about record numbers for unemployment and stuff. You got to remember the first couple of years of his presidency, a lot of the stuff that he's claiming was his is actually still uh, uh, holdover from Obama's 8 years. Because you got to remember,
Mhm.
G.W. Bush uh, left us in a recession and an unemployment rate of 10.4%. And it took Obama 8 years to correct it to get unemployment down to 4.7%. Everybody was bitching and complaining after 4 years that he didn't get the unemployment rate down the first 4 years. And it takes a lot to reverse a lot of that. And in the next 4 years, it dropped significantly. You know, when, because, Donald Trump was elected, yeah, the thing is the stock market was doing great, record highs for like over like the last year or so, and getting better and better, and our economy was slowly getting better, and inflation was coming down. But now that Trump's been elected, the stock market has actually started to drop. You know, under Joe Biden, we were actually for the first time ever, we were not energy dependent on another company. We were done more drilling under Biden, and we had an oil surplus. There's more drilling going on under Biden than under Trump did. Crime was down. Crime was way up under George or under Trump. I mean, the statistics are out there. People like are literally willing to do the research. Like I tell people, I'm not saying that people who voted for Donald Trump are stupid, but a lot of them, they because I will give Trump credit for being charismatic, but the man is a con man. I mean, that's every time. I mean, how do you bankrupt a casino of all things? You ask any decent economist, about running a casino, they will literally tell you if you build a casino, it's basically building a printing press to print your own money because you go, occasionally if you go, let's say, you decide you're going to go and you got like $200 and you're going to go, well, I'm going to go play some slot machines. You put in the money, bam, you win $2 million. Casinos excited because, they're like, yeah, yeah, Eric here just won $2 million. Yeah, yeah. But see, the thing is, when you look at it, it's like, they're giving you a nickel and they're pocketing $100 bill because they make billions of dollars. The casinos make billions of dollars a year. So
Well,
and it's all based, but it's all based on chance. Yeah, they know they're gonna the payouts are gonna be way less than what's brought in, what they pay out. You know,
mhm.
and and it just it I mean, they're already talking about now because of the election, because Donald Trump got in as president, that um, inflation is going to go back up because that's the reason people blamed inflation on Bidenomics. But the thing is, a lot of what the inflation rate is now is because of the amount of spending that Donald Trump did during his presidency, because he was spending money we didn't have, and then they had to print more money to cover what they were spending, and that's what caused those 4 years he spent what, almost $9 trillion. But that, and a part of that is because of those tax cuts for the rich, which and people wonder why things are the way they are. You know, I mean, people are bitching and complaining about how the price of groceries. I'm sure, being, yourself, and you go to the grocery store and over the last so many years, how the price of, eggs went from, like, you can get a dozen eggs for like $2, and now they're like $9 a dozen,
Well,
you
it's
know,
basically $400 here.
well, yeah, I'm just saying, but they
Yeah.
tried to get inflation was starting to come under control. It was getting lower. But the thing is, they blame it they don't blame it on the right people. The thing is, that most groceries are 80% of commercial groceries that are sold by three major companies. That's it. You have Albertsons, you have Walmart, and you have Kroger.
Well, you have Albertsons and
Well,
Kroger, which are in the
Albertsons.
process of merging.
Well, wait, what?
Well, Kroger and Albertsons are in the middle of like a mega merger, but I know they're probably having to sell off a couple properties, so there's not like overlapping conflicts where that like where they're already together in certain markets.
Well,
Because like
but right, right, right. Oh, I mean, no matter what, one of their stores is it's like gas stations. If if you go, like here, if you drive down the street, usually if you see like a BP gas station and you see an Amoco station right across the street from each other, they're both owned by the same company and they compete
mhm,
against each other. But they're all owned by the
Texaco
same company
and
in the long run.
Chevron, owned by the same company, and
Hmm. Right.
um,
But the
but
monopoly on But the monopoly on groceries is controlled by, well, at now it's still at this point, three major companies. Like I said, Albertsons, Kroger, and Walmart. And
Hmm.
because they have no other competition really in the major food market, they can set whatever prices they want because there's nobody to come in and say, well, we can do it for lower, and no big corporation to come in and say, hey, we can do this lower. I mean, we have like around here in Wisconsin, we have Piggly Wigglies, and they're a little higher price because but they have like a good selection. Like they have sales and stuff. It's not as big, but
Right.
they're trying to compete with these other stores, so they have to make their prices, just as high,
You know, and I
or
know
they don't
like
make any money.
for example, if you lived in like Texas or Oklahoma, you would the one of the biggest grocery store chains down there that
Hmm.
would that would basically just thumb their noses at like Walmart, Albertsons, and Kroger is HEB. Like here in the Southeast,
Hmm.
one of the biggest regional chains we have here is Publix.
Oh,
And
Publix.
then
Okay, yeah.
and then you have like other chains that have come from other countries like Lidl and Aldi, and I don't know whether y'all have any of those up there where you're at.
Yeah, we have Aldi here.
And then mostly throughout like Florida and like the southern parts of Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana, you have Winn Dixie. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
and I
Right.
know Winn Dixie's been in trouble for some time too.
Right. Well, yeah, that's like here we have, Piggly Wiggly and
And
but there's a lot of
well,
like
and I know
smaller ones, like these Whole
you got like
Foods.
this, yeah, that's an Amazon property.
Right.
And then you have like those super value like chain of discount grocery stores. I don't know if Piggly Wiggly is one of them or not, but like
No.
here in Georgia, you have Quality Foods and Food Depot, and
Oh, yeah, we have up here we have one, it's called Save a Lot.
I've heard of
They're
that
kind of
brand. And
more.
then like Stop and Shop, which is unfortunately having to close underperforming stores.
Hmm. Well, you know, and I hate to say it, but it's like I said, but like because there's three major corporations that control the
But and well,
groceries.
they pretty much have run a lot of those other grocery store chains out of town.
Hmm. Well, I mean, Walmart just like closed. They forced a lot of companies out of business. Smaller stores. I mean, we used to have a.
And if Sam Walton was still alive, I think he probably would not be really in agreement with how his children and grandchildren saw dollar signs in their eyes with that overexpanding like they did, and and exploiting like that market right there like you've been talking about.
Oh, I know. When you look at it, they make billions of dollars a year, but they also have, I mean, hell, even after they started selling groceries and in there, along with normal, like department store style,
Right.
stuff. I mean, look at Target. Target even has it now where you can buy food at Target. So
Yeah. You can buy food at IKEA too, and IKEA is like a foreign entity that came here,
yeah, that's a Swedish company.
and I know Aldi is German.
Mm. Yeah. Uh, Yeah, but I have an issue with Aldi because being originally born in a farm town and usually like used to eating like fresh grown stuff growing up. Um, and it's just some of the stuff there like I'm used to like the name brand stuff like Kraft macaroni and cheese. Any other mac and cheese never tastes right to me. And it's just certain things. Their peanut butter doesn't taste right. I mean, yeah, it's cheaper. It's cheaper and it's better. For if you're on a budget. But yeah, it
Hmm.
just the taste is off to me always, you know.
Because there are only certain like brands that I would trust. I mean, when
Hmm.
it comes to like name brands,
Hmm.
and then but when it comes to store brands, I can be really super picky. Of course, like
Right.
because I can't afford to go to a mom and pop like butcher to get fresh meat. I mean, I'm sick of
Right.
having to go
Right.
to the grocery store. And
Right.
where
Yeah.
like 20 years ago, Aldi came under a lot of controversy with using carbon monoxide as a meat preservative,
Hmm. Yeah.
and
And they always end up having some kind of product that's up under recall for
mhm,
because of like cholera or what is it or
E.
E.
coli,
coli.
salmonella.
Yeah, I think there was recently they had something in the news about E. coli for their for the meat or
Well,
something.
I think lunch meats like in like the Great Plains area of the country, and then like there's like onions that like McDonald's would buy for their quarter pounder sandwiches
Hmm.
that
Yeah,
they had to recall those onions.
you know, I mean, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The next 4 years when Trump takes office are going to be really rough, and a lot of people are going to hit a lot of hard times because and I hate to say it, that Project 2025 that he denied being a part of he is now claiming that's going to be like the playbook. You know, it just if any of those
Um,
things come true in there, and because you got to remember, people that are on his chief of staff, like Stephen Miller, was one of the people who helped orchestrate that Project 2025. That Tom Homan, that he wants to be in charge of Homeland Security, he wrote some of the stuff and helped plan that Project 2025. You know, I hope we don't see a lot of that come to fruition, but if we do, I mean, like I told people, you know what? Grab your helmet because life sucks and it's gonna be a bumpy ride. You know,
uh-huh.
but like I tell people, if a lot of people are actually literally having what they call buyer's remorse about voting for him. That on Google, a lot of what they talk about is they were looking their search results is like, can I change my vote after I voted? And what are tariffs?
In a couple of states, you could do that before the election is over. I mean, if those states haven't changed the laws.
Well, yeah, but these people were like asking uh yeah, but they were asking after the election was already finalized and that Donald Trump had won, because they started, yeah, because in the Republican Party, they have a tendency to be like really charismatic, while I hate to say it, the Democrats are kind of more relaxed and mellow, and they don't like they're like non-confrontational. I mean, some of the more prominent people that are coming up, like AOC, she's not afraid to, get in there and, disprove something that these, Republicans have been talking about. Or there's another one, Jasmine Crockett from Texas. She's another good one. Or Jamie Raskin. Um, you know,
You know,
um, it's just, it's just, I mean, it, you know, I hate to say it. It's basically right now. It's expect the worst, hope for the best, because a lot of people, they don't seem to wait. What is it? Okay, there it is. Um, people, it's just these people. I hate to say it, but social media is a big issue because people
well, I
are
mean,
just
there's no
putting out these
denying that.
memes. There's a lot of these people putting out memes are like,
'Cause-
oh yeah, look at this, this and this and this and this, and a lot of it's not true, but people will accept it as truth.
Well, I think there's no denying that social media can be toxic to whether you're on the like the right end or the left end of the political spectrum,
Right.
because I mean
Hmm.
there used to be a time when the internet was created, it was meant to be a great information tool, but when Facebook and
Uh-huh.
Twitter and TikTok and MySpace came along, it's
Oh yeah.
almost like so much of our lives is on there now.
Oh yeah.
And
Well,
and then
oh yeah. I
and then
remember. I remember being, back in the day before the internet was even really the internet, before we, as the American people and in the world, actually had access to it. Our form of digital communication was through the old bulletin boards systems that used to be in place. I don't know how much
yeah,
you know about those.
probably very little, but
Uh,
because I mean,
basically, Well, basically, you had one computer that would have like 30 different modems, and you'd have 30 different phone lines connected to it. And you could have up to 30 users calling in live and chatting with each other. And
oh yeah,
it was all, um, yeah. And basically, yeah, you would talk to people in your area. A friend of mine used to run one here in, originally it was here in Racine County, which is just south of Milwaukee County. But he moved it to Milwaukee, and he ended up selling it to another bigger bulletin board based out of Kansas. But we could talk here to people in Kansas because they were connected through the internet, those two bulletin boards. So, but yeah, that was like that was our form of like, internet, hell back in the what, mid 90s before
Right.
the internet became, as prominent as it is, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
I used to
Well,
run a
another,
single line.
um,
Oh yeah, I'm
and
watching it. Yeah.
well, and I think also another thing I would bring up is like with the holiday season coming up, like so far I've written out like a few like Christmas greeting cards for like family members and friends that I tend to like keep close to my heart. People I love and care about, and if you look at
Oh,
and I
excuse me.
think an episode of the Old Man's podcast show a while back, me and the Old Man and Shonda on a Monday episode talked about how, writing handwritten letters and greeting cards in more recent times, and especially in the era of social media, how that's just become a lost art.
Hmm. Oh yeah. Well, I think a lot of it is a lot of the thing is, it's the way that the government has kind of, you know, uh, taken things away from the education system. I mean, nowadays, you know how you confuse a kid?
Schools aren't
You
teaching
leave it.
cursive handwriting anymore.
Well, you know how you could confuse like a 10-year-old right now. Leave him a note in cursive and tell him he has to try and tell you what time it is on an analog clock. You know,
Hmm.
I mean, things like that. They'd be like, well, how do you read that? Because they don't teach that anymore because our education system is broken. You know, and and I hate to say it, and no knock against Georgia, but Georgia is one of the lower end states when it comes to education. You know, um, I mean,
Well, I mean, I
Eddie.
don't deny that public education sucks, anyways.
Mhm. I mean, here kids are, kids up here. I mean, let's see. Here, let's see. Let me see some. So, you see. Let's see. Territories and educational attainment. So, uh, the so population over the age of 25. Uh, eh. But like, let's see. U.S.
Because
territories maps.
like I know what it's like. When I did like attend public schools, like
Mm-hmm.
being in classes like where that having teachers that really that
Mm-hmm.
couldn't teach
Right.
or just didn't teach in a way like to where students like me could understand it, or
Right.
these teachers just did not know how to like handle unruly out of control kids disrupting the
Right.
class, and and or
Mm,
our teachers want to make some priority that really isn't a priority,
mm, right.
and things that
Well,
really truly are a priority, it's almost like they want to put that on the back burner instead, or they want to make
right.
excuse about like how they wish they could help but they can't because they're afraid it might get them in trouble with their bosses, which
Mhm,
basically it's like the principal is like the boss of the teachers at the school, but even the principal has got bosses at like
mhm.
the local school board.
Right. Yeah. Right. Right. But like, if you look at education here in the U.S., like Wisconsin is number 6 in education. Here, let me see if I can find Georgia. Load more. Here we go. Let's see. Load more. Oh yeah, no, not looking good. Georgia is 26th.
Well,
Uh,
we're in the middle somewhere.
right. So, yeah, I mean, and then you've got like, you know, let's see. Let's go. Let's see what we can find at the bottom here. I mean, Oregon is number 40 in education.
Oh
So
wow.
Alabama is 45th. Alaska is 46th. Louisiana is 47th. West Virginia 48th. Oklahoma 49th, and New Mexico 50th.
Oh wow. I wonder who's at the top.
Florida,
Oh,
because it's
Florida.
nice.
Oh,
Yeah, it's because it's a nice. It's nice. It's warm. A lot of schools down there, so you know, I'm assuming. But New York, how we're even better in New York in overall in number 12 in education for New York. You know,
I wonder where California and Illinois rank.
let's see. Let me look. Let's see. He's got to scroll through this damn list. It's pretty long. Illinois is 16th, and California is 23rd.
Oh wow.
hmm
Yeah.
You know, but it's
And I
just
and I wonder if Texas is in the top 10.
Texas.
Yeah.
No, no.
Nevada.
Texas. Wait, hold on. Let me see. Let's see. Let me go up here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the top 10 on this list that I'm looking at: Florida, Utah, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Colorado, Wisconsin, Wyoming, Connecticut, New Hampshire, and Virginia.
Oh.
Those are the top 10. Which one were you asking about? Texas is. Uh, Texas
I
is
figured New
29.
Jersey was in the top. And I figured New Jersey was at the top of that list too, along with
Right.
Massachusetts. I mean,
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I've got a friend who was originally from Connecticut and Massachusetts that I've known
hmm
off and on for like 4 years. I met him in person 3 times, and then sadly his dad died 6 months ago.
Mm,
And and this is a story that might warm people's hearts. That like this friend's dad was a gentleman I never knew and never met, but upon receiving word that the friend's father passed away, I
hmm
made I made the bold move to quietly send in a donation to the Amedisys Foundation, which is a hospice charity, and
hmm
I sent in $35, even though $35 is not a whole lot. I mean, it
Right.
was
Right.
better than sending nothing. But
Right. Right.
and then a month later, he just the friend discovered what I did, and he asked if that was me, and of course I wasn't going to lie to him, which I acknowledged that I did, and he thanked me for it, and his sister sent me a handwritten thank you card, and of course speaking
Uh,
of handwritten thank you cards, because the sister sent me a thank you card, I decided to send her a sweet like Christmas card this year.
oh,
You know,
that's nice.
you know, letting her know that I was grateful that
hmm
they were touched by my generosity and empathy, and that I have confidence that they're grateful that I care, and me just being generous that way. And even though I didn't know their dad, never met him, I just felt in my heart it was the right thing to do,
hmm
and that I would
that's
keep
like,
doing things.
well, around here, we, here, we have on Facebook, there's a group called Wisconsin Town Hall. And
Uh,
every time something comes up where somebody needs help, the people around here rally together to
oh
try
yeah.
and help. Like there was a guy, he lives on the south side of the city here. And somebody had said, yeah, this guy walks by my house. He had a little wagon which he would fill with scrap to take to one of the scrap dealers to turn it in for extra cash. And what had happened is his wheels were like off. It seemed that one of the axles on the wagon broke. So one lady said, if the guy was like, the lady was like, if there's anybody out here who could help a little bit, it would be would be much appreciated to get this guy a new wagon. So one lady went and said, look, do you have me, like, can we talk in a private chat? I'll send you the $99 for this industrial wagon. And then you wait and give it to the guy because he lived right down the street from him. And so the guy and his wife went and they bought him a brand new wagon and brought it to his house. And the guy was ecstatic. I mean, there was a lady here quite a few years ago. Um, and she used to run a website or a Facebook page and a web page about like things going on that weren't reported in the news. Like events and like things would people would come around and say, hey, there's this going on, this event. Here's a charity drive for like food, and stuff like that. Well, there was a guy. They had figured he was homeless and he was a veteran and he had his dog. So, and this woman, I love this woman to death. Um, she she talked to a gentleman who had recently bought a bunch of apartment buildings, and they were allowing her little organization to use one of the apartments. And because they had cleaned them all out and they were like going to start, they had worked on a few and made them better. She talked to the owner, and they let this gentleman move in rent free. The people that were part of the page were like, "Oh, hey, oh, I've got an extra bed that we don't use that's still new. We can, bring that over. Oh, we've got furniture. We got a couch, we got a TV, we got dishes, we got this, we got that." They hooked him up and basically furnished his whole apartment, paid for some vet expenses for his dog, and started getting him on a track to be able to literally start find an apartment and get on his feet, you know and it's things like that that still make me have faith in mankind, because not everybody is the big old d-bag that everybody's like, "Oh, you're a d-bag, blah blah blah, because blah blah blah." you know it just it's things like that just kind of, it warms my heart to see when people do things like that. I mean, I donate time when I can, I donate money when I can. Um, it's just, you know, it just, and the people when they do come together, there's a lot of good people out there. It's just you don't see it, you know. Um, like a few years ago, I used to work as a caregiver, and one of the guys that I took help take care of, I took him to he asked me to take him to Walmart. And I was like, okay, we'll go run to Walmart. So we're going into Walmart. There's this kid sitting in the entranceway, asking for money. He's got an old cup, and he's like, "Yeah, hey, anything just to help me get something to eat. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten in like 3 days." So I gave him $10. I was like, "Here you go." I didn't know the kid, and I don't know what he's going to do with the money. But about half an hour later, walking out the same door, and he's sitting out there in the front hallway. He's got a drink, and he's got a sandwich from Subway and a bag of chips. And I'm like, hey, I'm glad you got some food, man. And hey, and I gave him another 20 and said, look, it's not much. It's all I have on me, but just put it to good use. And uh, and he's like, "Oh my God, thanks. Nobody really seems to want to help." I said, "Well, at least there's somebody out there who's willing to try and help." You know, and and he started crying, and it made me want to cry. My friend was like all tough and bad, and like, "Arr," trying to act all tough, but uh, you know, oh, okay,
I
gracias.
sent you
Yeah, I
those
saw that.
three
Yeah,
email
yeah,
addresses
right,
to
right,
your
right.
Discord server.
So,
I guess
right,
if you want
right.
to get in touch with them, see if maybe Brett might would be interested in Crash, if she would also be interested in if Scooter and Spanky would be interested in you maybe commissioning something for them. But I know you'll probably listen into their podcast to try to get a feel of it.
Right, right, right. Yeah, got to listen in. You got to get an idea what
Like
what.
kind of like get to know them first.
Hmm. Got to do a little bit of legwork and detective work to figure everything out. But oh, geez, it's already 12:30. Oh, I need to get to sleep soon. I don't have to get up
Well,
too early, but I still got to get up and got to make myself smell purty. Got to take me a shower.
yeah. Well, hopefully you might drop by, Cindy's podcast in the morning at 8 a.m. your time if she's on, and then
Oh yeah.
and
Well,
maybe
yeah.
check out
See,
some of the other stuff that probably.
usually like Tuesdays. Tuesdays are pretty decent for me because usually I get up around 8 o'clock, so maybe I can pop in if it's up. So
Yeah, I mean she'd welcome seeing you. Cindy definitely would, and
yeah.
then Wednesday night 9:30 Central Time.
Mhm.
If you check out the Wednesday night variety show from the Pulse, I'm sure Brett would really enjoy seeing you.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I know. Usually, you like when I started on that one app stereo, and
Yeah.
I would send in like voice messages to their little live shows, and people would be like, "I don't even know who this dude is, but he's funny," and and yeah.
And
So
I think Scooter and
I'm gonna
Spanky again
follow
over
him
at
just
Beans and
because.
Weenies Bean Show. And the Beans and Weenies Bean Show and the Potluck Podcast, which are comedy podcasts, I think they would probably really enjoy getting to know you too.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. I'll have to start checking out more of these shows when when I'm home at night and and
You know, and but if
yeah.
you're not able to always get into the live shows, definitely make sure you are downloading their published episodes. And
Mm-hmm. Yo, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, I need to. Well, yeah, I have to. Like every time I do something on Podbean, it automatically tells me, "Oh, you downloaded this show. What is this show? I don't even know what this show is." It automatically downloads it. I'm like,
well,
okay, you know
you
what?
can turn off the auto downloads if you don't
Mm,
want it doing it automatically.
yeah, right, right, right. Yeah, I
Hopefully you'll
figured that out. So,
hopefully you'll check out the Illuminated Brains of Caps on Sunday to see whether or not you make one of the Podbean trivia questions and your contribution to the Old Man's Podcast show.
oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. What time is that one?
It'll be at 3 p.m. Central Time on Sunday.
Okay, yeah, I should be fine. Yeah, I'll write it down. I'll
Well,
write it
and I
down
know
and
you've
leave it on my desk.
already said that you got to start heading on out of here.
Yeah, I gotta get to bed. Yeah, it's almost 12:30, and yeah, I usually get up about 8 o'clock on the mornings. I don't have to start too early because usually, yeah, if I was going to sleep now, like it would have been last night, I'd be about 2.5 hours past my bedtime. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's fine. I'll be fine. Yeah, I'll get my eight
Right.
hours or 7.5 hours or whatever, and I'll be good. But all right, well, thanks for coming up, Eric, and yeah, and then joining me on the show here and. Good evening. Oh, yeah. Oh my God. Good evening. Good night, and go fuck yourself. You like that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You want to say it one more time?
Well. Oh. And just on that note, everybody. Good evening. Good night, and go fuck yourself. Yeah. I don't know. Might have to turn. I might have to make a closing outro for the show just like that. Yeah. Good
Oh,
evening,
yeah.
good night, and go fuck yourself. That'd be great. But oh no, like one of my things I usually play before like if where is it? It should be all the way. I like to play this.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Yeah. So
Right.
God, I've had that audio file, God, for like 10 years. And like I don't know if I turn this into an array, an actual published show, which I'll probably do maybe in the morning if I got a little time, go and edit it up. And I don't really not going to edit much, but it was mostly supposed to be playing music. But uh oh yeah, yeah, so and yeah, so yeah, thanks for coming on, Eric. Good evening, good night, go fuck yourself. Thank you.
Thank you.
But all right. Yeah. And on that note, we're going to get out of here. I'd like to thank Eric for coming up, joining me, having fun. I might have to do some more of these, like, earlier in the evening when maybe somebody, everybody else isn't out like asleep. But, and on that note, let's get out of here. Have yourself a good night there, Eric. I'm sure I'll hear you again on one of the other shows. And yeah, 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 we've been shooting the dookie with Hugh Janus. Yeah. Just remember, come see me for your weekly STD. And peace. We are out of here. Go fuck yourself.